Dinner and a show. On the third Thursday of every month, a dinner party was held among the secretive and elusive group referred to as the presidential cabinet. And this past Thursday, it was my turn to host the event at my Malibu home. As host of the event, it was my duty to ensure intellectual dialogue was constantly occurring. And so, when I noticed the topic of our recent real estate purchases was beginning to fade, I asked, to no one in particular, how is it that so many nations are unable to see the beauty of capitalism when the evidence is all around us? As I asked this question, the doors to the dining room opened, and in walked each of our personal chefs, carrying with them our customized meals. "It is simple," said Tom Edison, the founder and CEO of the largest corporation in the world. "The poor man has always cast blame on the rich for his being poor, instead of taking responsibility for his lousy decisions." On Tom's plate was the right arm of a former employee, one who had passed away inside his factory because of an apparent heat stroke. His arm was now broken and bent in such a way that it circled the outer edge of the plate, with the fist meeting at the shoulder blade. Inside the closed fist was a stalk of bacon-wrapped asparagus, held vertically, and in the middle of the curled arms were smashed fingerling potatoes smothered in garlic, parsley, and various seasonings. "I couldn't agree more," said Gene Dirt, the most recent recipient of the Best Actor award by the Academy, the 7th of his career. "Their focus is always on what they do not seem to have, instead of focusing on how they can grab it. They are stuck in the singular mindset, in the singular body, unable to see that we are capable of projecting and being anybody we so desire." Perfectly uniform slices of bruschetta circled Gene's plate. In the middle of the plate was a large serving of zucchini noodles, smothered in marinara sauce and Parmesan cheese, topped with 8 or 9 fried eyeballs of various colored irises. "Without capitalism," said George Adams, one of the most successful investors in American history and the world's most influential man, "change is impossible. There needs to be motivation to change, to grow, to evolve. Capitalism is the only true motivation." George's plate consisted of gold-plated lobster and Wagyu beef served with mashed potatoes, smothered in bits of truffle, gold flakes, and thick purplish gravy infused with a bottle of wine over 400 years old. "Couldn't agree with you more, George," said Yukio Singh, the diamond king of the world. "Without the ability to build capital, the world would be hitting the reset button every generation. Capitalism allows for us to grow on generations of before. It allows us to build kingdoms that stand forever, instead of shacks that continuously fall." Yukio ate a lion meat and vegetable soup, boiled in a rich bone broth and 3 ounces of blood from the same body whose bones were used to create the broth. "Speaking of kingdoms," said Norm Wolfe, an anchor for the nation's #1 news organization, "every kingdom that has ever fallen has fallen because they refused capitalism. They allowed their enemies to manipulate their thoughts, poison their minds, and eventually steal their glory and destroy it." Norm was served 3 separate plates overflowing with deep-fried food caked in sugar. He had always eaten that way, consuming a village's worth alone, though he remained always the smallest in the fraternity. He had long ago mastered the art of deception, deceiving everyone, deceiving everything, even his own body. "Capitalism is the fuel of life," said Ashley Morrison, the former CEO of the largest oil company in the world, where he now serves as a lobbyist to occupy his time. "Without it, innovation ceases to exist, and humanity falls away from the top of the food chain." Ashley had a 24-ounce black rhinoceros steak tartare. Served on the side were 3 California condor eggs, softly boiled, held by little cups made of ivory. "Exactly," shouted Thomas Marquez, a real estate investor who owns property all around the world. "If there is no capitalism, there is no investing. If there is no investing, there is no innovation. We must be invested in this world, and the goods of this world, to have any desire to change it, to better it, to develop it." Thomas's plate was easily the most exotic, blending ingredients from 22 countries spread across 4 continents, using a mixture of meats, fruits, vegetables, and spices grown on his private farm. "There is a reason America has remained the most powerful nation," said Scott Anderson, the current president of the United States. "It is the sacrifices of the little men for the men on top, the true heroes of this great nation." Scott's plate was filled with white rice and a mixture of raw fish covered in blue dye and thick red sauce. The food perfectly emulated the American flag. On the side was a bowl filled with extra dipping sauce made from the blood of soldiers lost in the Great War to end all wars. All of that is true, I said. Theodore Dorr III, author of 33 bestsellers and a few others that did not quite make the list. Maybe this will be the topic of my next book. The beauty of capitalism and the dystopian world we would be stuck in without it. The rim of my plate was dotted with 7 or 8 different dipping sauces. My sides included broccolini, snap peas, bell peppers, and carrots. In the center of the plate was my favorite protein of all, the human brain. After dinner, the 9 of us went to the patio for some whiskey and cigars. My patio, located in the hills of Malibu, oversaw a battlefield that had been active in the Great War to end all wars for several years. And though twilight was quickly approaching, there was still action to be seen. I asked Scott Anderson, the current president of the United States, which army we were fighting in the battlefield that night. It seemed the sides of the war were always changing. "I think it is Japan," he said, "or maybe Tanzania." "Any chance the war ends anytime soon?" asked John Dirt, who had said earlier that night that he was growing tired of playing soldiers, which he was expected to do to keep morale up for the nation and support for the ongoing war efforts. Before Scott had a chance to respond, Norm Wolfe, the anchor, chimed in with more of a reportage than an answer. "In the early mornings of Tuesday, through the sandy dunes of Egypt, the commies approached the pyramids with bazookas and tanks, showing they are not nearly as close to defeat as we once originally anticipated." "The commies?" asked Yukio Singh, the Diamond King. "That's right," said Norm, "the commies. But I thought Egyptians were the commies. Why would they destroy their own pyramids?" "I thought they were fascists," said Thomas Marquez, who owned a couple of homes in Cairo. "No, you're thinking of another country," said Ashley Morrison, oil lobbyist. "Ethiopia?" said Thomas. "No, Ethiopia is a bunch of socialists now," said Tom Edison, the wealthiest man on planet Earth. "Actually, we converted them to capitalism last year," said Scott. "Good for Ethiopia," said George Adams, the man most responsible for that change. "Only a fool would deny capitalism." "And yet," I said, "so many wise men and women continue each day to deny it. Could there possibly be some validity to their argument? May there, just maybe, be something we are But I was unable to finish my question, for a bomb was suddenly dropped on the battlefield across the way from a passing plane. A little mushroom cloud quickly consumed our view. "Ooh," said a few of us. "Ah," said the rest. The mushroom was a beautiful mushroom. It swelled toward the sky, the head growing larger all the while. The battlefield went hazy. All of Malibu disappeared. We couldn't see a thing. We walked to the patio's edge and waited for the cloud to clear. When the battlefield came into view, there wasn't a moving soldier in sight. Just hundreds, maybe thousands, of bodies lying dead in the bloodied-up grass. Just dead commies, or fascists, or socialists, or capitalists, or whoever it was we were fighting that night. The show had concluded. We clapped our hands. "Bravo!" we said. "Well done!" we yelled. "Good fight!" we screamed. After the standing ovation had ended, we returned to our seats. We grabbed our whiskeys and our cigars. "Were you saying something, Theodore?" said Tom Edison, looking directly at me. "You know, before the bomb was dropped?" I thought momentarily about my question, then said, "It isn't important. The answer is obvious. They are fools." I lifted the cigar to my lips and filled my lungs with smoke.